Vedanta Swami Namine Jaya Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunjari Pyari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunjari Pyari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jara Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jara Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanatari Yamuna Tira Vanatari Jayo Radha Madhava Jaya Kundari Dhari Jayo Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Jayo Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Subhadramayi Jaya Sudarsana Jayo Krishna Balaram Jayo Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jayo Krishna Balaram Jayo Gandharvika Giridhari Gandharvika Giridhari Gaurari Jayo Lakshmi Narasimha Jayo Ananta Devi Lakshmi Narasimha Jayo Ananta Devi Jayo Lakshmi Varagade Jayo Lakshmi Varagade Lakshmi Varagade Jayo Lakshmi Varagade Jayo Pancha Tattva Jayo Pancha Tattva Pancha Tattva Jayo Pancha Tattva Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jayo Jaya Prabhupada Jayo Jaya Gurudev 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 Jayo Jaya Gurudev Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjalasalakya Chakshurumiliktam Mena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Kadambikam Padamsyam Vandeham Shri Guru Shivata Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Sa Shri Rupam Sagardatam Sagana Raghunatam Santam Samsajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sagitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sagana Lalita Shri Visakamsa He Krishna Karna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopika Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Sapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanusude Devi Pranamami Haripe Vanchakalpatirupikshā Kripa Sundevacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivachari Gautavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritam Naram Chaivam Narottam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tadodayam Udirena Sapraye Subhadreshu Nityam Bhagavate Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Sloke Bhakti Bhavantana Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Krishna. Welcome all the devotees for the Nityam Bhagavate Sevaya. So we'll be I seek blessings from all the devotees so that I can speak Bhagavatam in Parampara for the pleasure of the crew and Krishna and the devotees and my own purification. Hare Krishna. Today we'll be reciting the sloka, first canto, 18th chapter, Parishit cursed by the Brahmana by sloka number 26. It's a very interesting sloka. We'll be talking more about the technicality of the trance. So there are various consciousness stages. It is very important for every devotee to understand the stages of consciousness happening in that our body. and how we can get into the transcendental stage. So this is the topic we will be discussing in detail one. You can follow the slokas along with me. Pratirudra Indriya Prana Manobuddhim Uparatam Snanatrayat Param Pratam Brahmabhutam Avikrayam Pratirudra Indriya Prana Manobuddhim Uparatam Snanatriyat Param Pratam Brahmabhutam Avikrayam Pratirupta Indriya Prana Manobuddhim Uparatam Snanatriyat Param Pratam Brahmabhutam Avikrayam. Word by word meaning. Pratirudra, restrained. Indriya, the sense organs. Prana, the air of respiration. Mana, the mind. Buddhim, intelligent. Uparatam, inactive. Snana, place. Trayat, from the three. Param, transcendental. Praptam, achieved. Brahmabhutam, quantitatively equal with the Supreme Absolute. Avikrayam, unaffected. Translation and purport by His Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation. The Muni's sense organs, breath, mind and intelligence were all restrained from the material activities, and he was situated in the trance apart from the three, the wakefulness, dream and consciousness, having achieved a transcendental position quantitatively equal in the Supreme Absolute. Purpose. It appears that the Muni in whose hermitage the king entered was in a yogic trance. The transcendental position is attained by three processes, namely the process of jnana or theoretical knowledge of transcendence, the process of yoga, the factual realization of trance by manipulation of physiological and psychological function of the body, and the most approved process of bhakti yoga, or the engagement of senses in devotional service of the Lord. In Bhagavad Gita also we have information of the gradual development of perception from the matter to the living entity. Our material mind and the body develop from the living entity, the soul, and being influenced by the three qualities of matter, we forget our real identity. The jnana process, theoretical speculates about the reality of the soul, but the bhakti yoga factually engage in spiritual soul in activities. The perception of the matter in transcendental to still subliminal state of the senses. The senses are transcendent to the subtler mind and then to breathing activities and gradually to intelligence. Beyond the intelligence, the living soul is realized by the mechanical activities of the yoga system or the practice of meditation restrain the senses, regulating the breathing system and applying intelligence to rise the transcendental position. This trance stops all the material activities of the body. The king saw the Muni in that position. He also saw the Muni as follows. Hare Krishna, welcome once again the Nityam Bhagavad Seva devotees. It's very interesting. There are a lot of new things we'll be understanding. One is that three consciousness, that wakeful, dream and unconsciousness state. And also fourth is a trance. So this we will be understanding in detail, and also three influences, that is the mode of goodness, passion and ignorance. So let's move forward. This is very, very important technical descriptions. Okay, the state of conscious of Samik Rishi, the external approach appear to be sitting and meditating. So the background about this, yesterday's sloka we were understood that Parikshit Maharaj, he was in while engaged in hunting the forest with a bow and arrow, become extremely fatigued, angry and thirsty. Okay, while following the state, he is searching for the reservoir of water, and he entered the hermitage of the well-known Samik Rishi and saw the sage sitting silently with a closed eyes. This is the background about that. Today we will be knowing that what is the status of Samik Rishi, how he was sitting quietly and with the closed eyes. So this is called transit stage. So in the translation, Prabhupada says that the Muni's senses organs are restrained from material contact and activities. His senses are restrained. Okay, and the eyes for seeing the object, ear for hearing the sound. So these are all stopped. It is a normal for any person, okay, for hearing and seeing it. But those who are in a stop material engagement, engage in the spiritual life or experience, they want to stop the material engagement and completely engage spiritually by practice and restraining. The senses are gradually elevate the senses to the spiritual platform. That is the thing we have to understand. How we have to gradually elevate. The first stage is that the Muni's sense objects are restrained. His sense objects are there. We have five indriyas: eyes, nose, tongue, skin, okay, here's all the things. So these things are restrained. First, he restrained the external grasp material things, and then he started restraining that and controlling the breathing also, which is the vital for air circulation and the body to keep alive. So that he restrained it, and then he is restraining the mind. It's a substale, and the body intelligence also. It's also a substale state. So all the things here, the four things are restrained. The material activity. So in terms of material activity, it's all restrained and situated in a trance apart from this free state of consciousness. So he shifted that into three state of consciousnesses. As a spiritual, we are conscious, being aware of our surroundings. So generally we will be aware of our surroundings. Suppose I am talking in this temple hall for the audience of the Nityam Bhagal Seva, I am aware of it, okay, and you are also hearing it. This is called the wakeful state. So first we have to understand what is wakeful state. Wakeful state is the awareness, engaging the senses, all the five senses, and responding to that. That is wakeful state. Then there is a stage called dream state. When we go to sleep in night time, so we are unaware of the external surroundings. Generally, that is the state when we go to the fast sleep, and also even in sleep state, there is two stages are there. While sleeping, there is two stages. One is dream stage, other is unconscious stage. So that also we have to understand what is meant by dream state. Dream state are the spirit soul experiences certain kind of state of awareness. So we close our eyes and we lost in touch with the five indriyas senses. The five senses are the gateway of our interaction with the material world. So outside world. So that is one. When this is cut off, we sleep. Okay, we go to the sleep stage. So senses, sense of smelling, sense of touching, sense of sound, all these activities are switched off. That means totally disconnected when we go to sleep. These five senses are shut off. We sleep, then we are also dream state. So we get some dreams. Generally, we enter into the conscious of dream of the world. That world is a settled world. So there is no gross object or the five senses. Only the mind is active. In the dream state, what is happening is our mind is active, and we started dreaming. It may be the good dream or it may be bad dream. There are so many dreams are there. That is all happening in the settled form. So many things are happening there. When we wake up, sometimes we able to recollect the dream, or sometimes we will forget about that. So it is all depending on how we are correlating that, because it is a settled state. So sometimes we remember it. In fact, that every night we go to sleep, we will be in the form of a dream state, experience some kind of dreams, and sometimes we will go to unconscious states where absolutely silent. We will not get to know that outside world at all. We are not even in the dream state. So example, if I ask you to recollect 10 days back, same time, what was the action you had done? So we have to think about that 10 days back, same time. So it is not that easy to recollect our activities. Sometimes we correlate that, okay, this is a time, this is a day, this is that event has happened. So some specific event happened, so then only we can correlate and able to recollect it. So it is normal when a person is awakened state or the dream state, it is not possible for them to recollect whatever is happening. So that's why we call it as it's all temporary things. Okay. Any good dreams or bad dreams, remembering are relative terms, of course. The grossly, nothing happens, but settle things, some experience we are getting in that. The unconscious state is the state in which you are aware of the, you are not aware of the dream world, not aware of the external gross body also. That is the unconscious state. So people generally say that you are sleeping sound sleep. Sound sleep means quiet and not thinking of anything. So such a state is called unconscious state. The fourth state is called the trance. It is above the three states, that is wakeful state, dream state and unconscious. It is above that. That is called, the three state is called transit state. So that is the state we are going to understand more. You are not aware about the gross world, not aware of the settled world. So neither gross world, that is the awakened force, nor in settled world, that is the dream or unconscious state. So it is beyond that. So the conscious of yourself is a spirit soul. So you will be yourself understanding about, you will be taken to the spirit soul and anything further and beyond the awareness of spirit. Something more, the spiritual dimension of the reality, otherwise totally kind of unknown. In the above the first three stages, okay, you are not aware of the, when you are in transit stage or spiritual state where you will not aware of the grossly things, you will not aware of the dream state, you are not aware of the unconscious. So these are the things we have to understand about that. What is mean by spiritual, other spirituality? Every living being, or we are aware that we are in a spirit soul. When we see a person, we are able to see the object, and also we can sense his state of his mind. Maybe sorrow, maybe he'll be happy. Sometimes he'll be depressed, lost in the thoughts. So all the things we can see. It's all grossly things we are able to see, but we are not able to see his spirit soul. The person is sleeping, or he will not respond. So when a person is sleeping, he will not respond, so he will not aware what's happening around him, outside world. Either he will be in dream state or in an unconscious state. But if you are aware of that something is called spiritual state or conscious or awareness, we don't know that, we only know the scripture. So far we understood that this spirit things only through the scripture books, but we never experienced it. So that experience only the elevated souls, so those people will be getting that. By practice of yoga, one can restrain the breathing. So all the sense organs like breathing he can control the mind, he can control the intelligence, and situated oneself in the state of fourth stage. So that's why the Ashtanga Yoga, now people are practicing it, so they want to go to the state of spiritual state. Okay. So that is elevated, the fourth stage of that. So Samik Rishi also in that state where he is beyond the bodily consciousness, he is beyond the subtle conscious, he is into the spiritual consciousness where he was meditating on the Lord, and that is the quality of that equal to Krishna, the Supreme Absolute. So that is the state when Samik Rishi was there. So that's why he is not aware that king entered to his hermitage. Also, the Krishna is always into the transitional state, spiritual consciousness state. Okay, so he is eternally, he is in that state only. But we are not in that state. We are in a bodily conscious, and we are into material conscious state only. We are in the lower conscious state. It is not our conscious is not the spiritual consciousness, okay, spiritual world. Example, when you are dreaming of anything happening externally, no dream, so you may be happy or sad, but when you are awake, it's just like a dream, no loss, no gain. Similarly, from the spiritual perspective, whatever happening in this world, material world, not affecting the spiritual reality or spiritual position. So matter conditions is just like one awakeful state or sleeping state. Okay, spiritual awareness, spiritual ignorance, and spiritually not in consciousness. So such state is a material conscious state only. So Samikshiship was a transient state, some same level of Supreme Lord. So there are three stages where we can experience this spiritual state. One is jnana process, the other one is yoga process, third one is the bhakti process. In the jnana process it is more of theoretical. So people will speculate, read more of the scriptures which talks about that, and people will be discussing about spiritual consciousness. They deep study about Vedic literature describing a particular state of transition position. These are the jnana states which explain that yes, no kind of thing. The second process is the yoga state, where the Ashtanga yoga, the physical condition. What do you mean by physical condition? The physical conditions are all the external organs, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, everything is restrained from the activity. The second one is yoga process is the psychological function. What do you mean by psychological function? Thinking, feeling, and willing. So these are the related to the subtle body like mind and intelligence. So restraining mind from all the thoughts and material feeling and material willing, urge to do something else. By doing so, one can rise above the three consciousness to the fourth stage of trance state, or called the transcendental consciousness. So these are the two things are aware of the people. Generally, non-devotees practice it. But the devotees, is the most approved process is the bhakti yoga, where they engaging the senses for the devotional service of the Lord. In Bhagavad Gita, in sloka number 3, chapter 3, sloka 42, it also explains clearly that the working senses are superior to dull matter. So mind is higher than the senses, intelligence is still higher than the mind, and the soul, is even higher than the intelligence. So even the Bhagavad Gita also is clear that there is a different stages of transit happening to go to the soul's level. So that is spiritual reality, that you are the soul, supreme soul, and you are the Jivatma. You will be understanding about supreme soul and the Jivatma. Also you will be understanding about the spiritual, not the material body. So in the jnana process, the theoretical speculation about the reality of the soul, that try to eliminate all material varieties of material awarenesses, try to negotiate. Okay, it is not spirit, this is that, this is not that, this is that. So there is a more of speculations related things. Whereas the bhakti yoga is not a speculation. It is actually engaging the senses in the devotional service of Krishna. So where we engage him, example is just like when we chant it, we touch the beats, so we feel it, and also we produce a sound vibration called Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So and also we hear the sound vibration, that is ear is sensing. So all the three senses are engaged in the devotional service. So there is a definite activity called chanting a japa. That is a spiritual activity. This is the spiritual activity. It is also called the bhakti yoga process. This is the bhakti yoga process. So we can practically demonstrate it. The perception of the matter is the transcendental till the settled state of senses. Normally when we see object, we are aware of what we are seeing it. Example is that when we see something, we are aware of that what we are seeing it. Okay, but behind that there is a big activity happening, that we are not conscious of seeing the object. We are not focusing that consciousness. And though the mind is a knowledge acquiring senses, that is processing it, what the object, and pursuing the object to become something. So these are the background of so many things are there. We are not aware of that. When we become aware of that, the whole process of seeing it. So just like that somebody, another example is somebody walking on a desert, so he can see a water at 50 feet away from him. So, but in the reality, there is no water in that place. It is called mirage. Okay, it's a illusion, optical illusion. Similarly, the optical illusion is aware of that. When we are aware of that is optical illusion, then we become awareness of the defect of the senses of seeing it, limitation of the seeing. So these are the things we are coming to know that. So how it is defective or another example, when the sun rises in horizon in the early morning, so we can able to see within the our reachable hands. But is it the size of the real size of the sun? No. It is again an optical illusion that the sun. So these are the things. No, our senses are defective. So 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 senses are defective. So we can't pursue with that. So what we have to do is this way the transit matter. Okay, the matter to pursue to the senses. The dull matters are pursued to the matters and the senses. Dull matters are pursued to the senses, and the senses are transit to the subtle mind. So it is elevated to the mind, and the mind is then transit to the intelligence, and finally it realizes to the soul. Okay, this is the process. Okay, to the achieve to the fourth stage, and Samikrishi is that in that state. So with this, in this sloka, the conclusion is that Samikrishi is in the fourth stage of consciousness, where he is in the spiritual transit stage, where he is not away from, he is beyond the three basic material consciousness, like we call it as awakeness stage, dream stage, and spirit unconscious state. So that is the reason the Samikrishi is not got the information about the king Parikshit entered to the hermitage. So he didn't given the attention to the Maharaj also. That's the srimad Bhagavatam. Hope that it is very clear, and it is useful information and a lot of good things we are doing. Why we are not able to pursue that thing is because of the three modes of nature, the mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. These are the things which manipulate us and keeping us away from the spiritual consciousness. So that we are spirit soul, and we are not this body, and we forget about the Krishna. So these are the things because of the mode of material mode of three modes are the main reason for that we are missing the consciousness of that. Correct.